Hello and welcome to this Zoom session where I will go over the weekly analysis for the last day of March and the first week of April 2025 and share my pending orders with you, the trades that I have in place, the trade planning that I do for the upcoming week. And this will be unedited because it is a Zoom session, and maybe I will be able to make some minor edits before I upload it to YouTube. But if you have any questions or comments, if you're participating in the Zoom, just leave those in the chat box and I'll answer those as we go through the session. First, I need to go over and share my screen, and we'll go to the browser and share that because we need to look at the news that's coming out this upcoming week. And that is forexfactory.com that we're looking at. And I won't go over all of these news items here, these high impact news items, just to bring to your attention forexfactory.com, where all of the high impact news items are listed for the week on a daily basis. The main one that we have next week, of course, is the non-farm employment change. Again, that seems to come more than once a month, but it's only once a month. It's the first Friday of every month. And sure enough, it's going to be the first Friday in April, so we have the non-farm employment change on this upcoming Friday. But let me stop sharing that. And of course, what we really want to look at is the charts. And so I'll go over to my Tradingview charts, where I have posted my trade setups, my trade plans for the upcoming week. And right now we're looking at, Pound New Zealand. But before I get into the actual charts and the pending orders that I have, I always like to look at the indexes. And this is the US dollar index, the US dollar compared with 6 major currencies. And we can see, of course, as I've been saying for this entire year, that we're seeing a decline, a weakening of the US dollar with the occasional pullbacks. And that's what we had last week, although on Thursday and Friday of last week, it started to decline again. So we're very likely to continue to see a decline of the US dollar, more weakening of the US dollar. And of course, that means we will be bullish on the major US pairs. And then I'll go over to the JPY basket. Hello, Chris. You joining into the Zoom session. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it very much. If you have any questions, leave them in the chat box. And then here is the JPY basket, which has been strengthening since the beginning of January. And you see, we did, of course, have some pullbacks, and that's what we got the last couple of weeks. It even broke below the trend line, the major trend line that we have there. But I'll just adjust that and put it where it should be there. Okay, so it strengthened on Friday, and after this pullback lasted about 10 days, we're likely to see a continuing strengthening of the Japanese yen. So those are the two indexes that I like to look at, the JPY basket and the DXY. And now let's start going through the currencies to see the plans that I have come up with for this upcoming week. And you can see this is the Pound New Zealand. This is one of my favorite currency pairs. And I like it because it moves more than most currencies. It doesn't move more than all currencies, but it moves more than the major pairs for sure. You can see we got 2 big days here, and these are just huge drops here. All right, but overall, the Pound New Zealand has been making a big move up. And this red line you see at the top here, this is goes back to a 10-year previous high. So this high was back in 2015. And now what we're looking at here, just need to get my images out of the way here so I can see my chart. Okay, there we go. I've got that done. Okay, completely out of the way now. Okay, so having to fly by the seat of my pants here doing a Zoom session. Okay, this, as I told you in the beginning, this is totally unedited. But back on the Pound New Zealand, this is a 10-year high that we have reached. This goes back to a previous 10-year high in 2015. And we got up to that high here and then fell down, but now it's starting to make its way back up to that previous high that we saw a couple of weeks ago. And with the Pound New Zealand, I have been expecting that this is going to be a high, not an all-time high, but a high for the current time that we're in, and start to see this fall back down to lower prices. And it looks like it's going to do that, and then it makes a big move as the pound New Zealand does. But then you need to be careful because this is definitely bullish. So you can get into some of these reversal trades, but you need to be careful because they don't often last very long. Like this one here was just 2 days and was just a short reversal and then another big move up. And then we had another reversal here, looked like a big one, but then it turned around and started to head up to higher prices. So you need to be careful with this and respect the trend. Okay, you need to respect the trend. The trend is your friend. So what we have now is it's reached this trend line that I have here, and what I'm expecting is that this will break above the trend line if we start to see momentum, continuing bullish momentum. And then if it breaks above that, then it's most definitely going to go to this next trend line here. And if it breaks above that, then we are certainly going to see higher prices. I don't have any pending order on the pound New Zealand. Okay, what I do on Monday and every day during the week, I will be looking at the smaller time frames. I like to look at the 15-minute time frame, especially for the pound New Zealand. And then if I start to see more bullish momentum on the smaller time frames, then I can go ahead and follow the trend. The trend is bullish. Follow the trend and take it'll be small buy trades because we're getting up to such high prices. I don't want to over leverage or over trade at these high prices, but that's what I do. I'll go to the 15-minute time frame, look and see if I have continuing upward movement, and then I'll look to find a good price to get in and take perhaps a good sniper trade or a short scalping trade, something like that, and then be very, very cautious as we start to approach this upward trend line. So that's the pound New Zealand. No pending order, but I'll be watching lower time frames for that one. Let's go down and look at the majors. I do have some specific pending orders in place for you. And as you can see, the Euro US has been on a bullish run. I thought a couple of weeks ago we're going to see $1.10, and it got up to $1.09 and change, not quite $1.10. And then the last week or 10 days or so, it's really made a big drop down, but now it's bounced off of this trend line that we have here and starting to make a move back up to higher prices. And with the continuing weakening of the US dollar, we are likely to see strengthening of the major pairs. And so I have a buy limit on the Euro US with the entry price at 1.0800. Let me just check the chats here and see if anybody has asked any questions. And Chris has his microphone off and video off. And if you're still here, Chris, welcome. If you have any questions about what we're talking about here, just leave them in the chat box. And then let's look at the odd US. And this is a buy limit. Okay, with the last 4 weeks or so, we've been seeing a bullish direction generally, okay, with higher highs and higher lows. So I am bullish on the odd US with a buy limit at this purple line that you see here. Okay, it needs to come down just a little bit, bounce off of that trend line that we have there, which we have 1 touch point here, 2 touch points there, and this would be a 3rd touch point, and then continuing bullish upward price movement. And so the entry price on the odd US with a buy limit is 0.6275. Then the New Zealand US, okay, this is neutral, and definitely neutral. Where it is now, bouncing off of this trend line, it could break below that and continue down, or it could bounce off and go back up to higher prices. We are seeing some higher lows and some higher highs here. So it could continue as the odd US to be bullish, but I will wait and see how the market sentiment is going to unfold on Monday before making a decision on the New Zealand US. So no pending order at the moment on the New Zealand US. And then the pound US, definitely a buy limit. This one has been making a great bullish run all year long. Goes up, then goes sideways a little bit, goes up, goes sideways. It's sideways now and looks like it's ready to go up again. So I have a buy limit at 1.2910, 1.2910. That's where that purple line is. So let it come down just a little bit of a retracement, and then continuing its bullish move to higher prices. The USD CAD, forget it. Okay, I'm not interested in trading the USD CAD with this candlestick sandwich that we've been seeing for a long time. This started back in the mid of December, and then went along until mid of January, and then there were some tariffs announced on Canada and a big trade war starting, and then that dropped below the sandwich and then back up, and it's just is almost impossible to trade this successfully. So I'd rather just wait this one out. There's plenty of other pairs and other things that we can trade. The USD JPY, a sell. Okay, and that's what I told you last week, was to sell the JPY, the USD JPY. And if you look back on Monday at the price that it opened, and then you look on Friday at the price that it closed, you were probably just about break even. Okay, it went into a loss, yeah, but then it came back down. And so this is very likely to continue down with the weakening of the US dollar and strengthening of the Japanese yen. So again, Monday, market execution order. When the market opens on Monday, just sell the USD JPY. And then what else? Bitcoin. We haven't looked at Bitcoin yet. Not much to talk about on Bitcoin. It's staying between 80 and 90,000, and it's went back up a little bit above that, but then came right back down, and it's just kind of fluctuating between there. Dropped a little bit below 80,000 for a couple of days there, and then back up. Tried to get back up to 90,000, couldn't. And this is all because we are in a bearish crypto market. If you look at the weekly chart on the Bitcoin, it's definitely bearish. So this is what we're seeing, and maybe Bitcoin will go lower. For the moment, the current price movement, it could come on back down to 80,000. And then if it breaks below that trend line, which is just below 80,000, then we could see lower prices again, maybe down to 78 or perhaps even lower. But if I see that it's going to bounce off of this trend line and start to move back up a little bit, then I would be likely to take a small long trade, a small buy trade on Bitcoin, and ride it back up to this red trend line that you see here, where it keeps bouncing off. Bounced off there, bounced off here, bounced off here. Goes down and up, down and up, down and up. So be careful with trading Bitcoin. We're definitely bearish, but we don't know. Surely it can't go lower than everyone thinks. It can't go lower than 80,000 or 78,000 here. So be careful if you're shorting Bitcoin, because it's really, again, it's a candlestick sandwich. If you look at the last couple of weeks, it's just very much up and down. And then, of course, the last one we want to look at is gold. It's so easy to set up an order for gold. I mean, it's just so bullish. Just go back as far as you want, all the way back to October 23, and you'll see that we've been just in an uptrend. Okay, you do get the occasional pullbacks, and then everybody freaks out, panics, says, oh, the bull run is over, and we need to start selling gold, and then bang, it takes off again. All right, so we've reached an all-time high again last week on Friday of 3,086. It closed at 3,084, but you don't want to buy on Monday morning when the market opens. It could just start to continue straight up. Anything is possible, but I don't want to buy at those high prices. So I will wait patiently to see if it will come back down to this first support level, which is 3,055. 3,055 is where I have a pending buy limit on XAU USD. That's a previous resistance level and has now become support. All right, so that was the weekly analysis for this last day of March and the first week of April. And I shared my pending orders with you. If you have any questions about those, leave them in the comments below. I will be posting this shortly on YouTube. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I will get back to you. Again, thanks for being here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on YouTube, and click the little bell so you'll be notified every time I make one of these videos. Thanks again for being here. Don't forget to like, love, and share, and I'll see you again in the next video.